I'm sure you all remember Humongous, the woman who had that little camera phone shoved in his face and asked him what his name was, and he said Hugh, and then Mungus. Humongous what? Humongous what? This man is sexually harassing me! The video went on for like 8 minutes in length of her literally accusing this guy because he made a joke that he's guilty of sexual harassment. Maybe if you're living under a rock, maybe you didn't see that video. In case, here's a short little snippet to re-jog your memory.
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Then why did you say that to me?
That's my name.
What? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me?
What, humongous?
Why would you say that to me?
Yes, but my name.
Why would you say that to me?
Why would I say it to
Why
you?
would you say that to me?
Why would you ask me my name?
What? Humongous what? Humongous what?
No, they said that they already knew.
Humongous what? Humongous what? Which person just wrote to me in a sexually harassment?
You see, today is a special day. Today is a special day because we have this woman now on YouTube, and she's now making YouTube videos. But before we even dive into the YouTube videos, the one I'll be responding to today, I want to take a quick look at her at her crowdfunding page, because believe it or not, Zarna Joshi is doing a crowdfunding campaign for some of the things that she had to deal with. Contribute to Zarna's safety and well-being. $310 out of a $1,000 goal. We scroll down here, and I just love the fact that the people donating her $1 are literally donating to her to insult her. Completely fine with paying $1 to tell you that you're actually psychotic. This video is so hilariously bad, especially the random violin music or the stereotypic man thoughts. Please consider never being on the internet again. You're not a good person.
Zarna has been dealing with sexual harassment, stalking, rape threats, and death threats from cops, white supremacists, misogynists, and for over 2 months since she defended herself from a sexual harasser in a public place. Okay, bitch, you never didn't defend yourself. You attacked and bullied someone. There has been a widespread hate of character assassination directed at her in an attempt to terrorize and intimidate her into silence. Despite this, Zarna has been working to encourage her community to speak out against the patriarchal power structure so that women, people of color, and marginalized people do not have to live in fear of men and white supremacy. This fundraiser is so that people can care about dismantling the patriarchy, can contribute to Zarna's safety and well-being as she continues to fight the threats towards her and those who suffer the patriarchy.
I have a question for you guys. If I create my own crowdfunding and just start showing you like the comments and hate comments that I get, could you guys like donate to me $1,000? For, you know, the things that mean things people say to me on the internet? Take a look at our brand new YouTube channel, shall we? Zarna Responds Part 1, Surrounded by Patriarchy. Zarna Responds Part 2, Internalized Oppression. And the one that we're going to be responding to today is Zarna Responds Part 3, What is Harassment? So if you're not on drugs or drinking right now, this is the time that I would suggest that you do so. What you're about to watch, what you're about to see is unfucking believable. In fact, I had to watch this video several times through without bursting out in laughter because of how ridiculous this video really is.
Content contains mentions of sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, violence, gun violence, murder, imprisonment, historical trauma, abuse, and suicide. Strong and explicit language. Parental discretion is advised.
It's clear that most people in our society don't even know what sexual harassment means. So I'm going to tell you how to recognize it in my situation and in everyday life, in the deep hope that our sisters and queer and trans siblings might have a chance in this world. I'm going to tell you what I've learned from living on this earth for over 30 years. So listen up. Because these voices are the voices of your sisters, your daughters, your friends, your mothers, and your grandmothers.
Men don't get to decide what sexual harassment is.
Abso-fucking-lutely, Mr. Balding Gandalf. Men don't get to decide what sexual harassment is, and women don't get to decide what sexual harassment is either. You know who does get to decide what sexual harassment is? The courts, the law.
Any more than white people get to decide what racism is. Because patriarchy and racism are systems of power. Men and white people profit from those systems of power, even if they don't know they're perpetuating them. That's why they don't get to decide how to define them.
You're a man, you're white, therefore you profit and are contributing to the systems of power that all men seem to hold, whether or not they acknowledge it. So you're telling me that no matter what someone's environment, no matter how they grew up, that a white person has automatic profit and power? simply because they are white and a man? So even if they grew up on the goddamn motherfucking street, what about the homeless issue of hundreds and hundreds of homeless men running the streets of Seattle who have nothing? I'd love to know how exactly these homeless men, or young white children or young teens, are profiting from the systems of power from being white and a man.
Sure, our system is designed to keep women oppressed.
Stop right there. I normally don't do this, but can I just say that you make me smile. You want to know why you make me smile? Because you look like a Neanderthal. Like, your facial complexion is the most Neanderthalish face I've ever seen.
But using freedom of speech as your excuse to say vile things to women makes you a coward. And it's also sexual harassment.
Using your freedom of speech to say vile things to women over the internet. You're a coward. Wow, that just... that struck a chord with me, mate. If you've been a subscriber of mine or a viewer of mine for any amount of time, you would know that I don't support people, trolls, or people going out of their way to say vile things like rape threats, death threats, things like that. But I think we can both agree that those types of death threats and rape threats, whether they're made towards men or women, should be equally condemned. I don't understand why a rape threat over the internet, if someone makes towards a woman, is considered more of a problem than it being said to a man. Why are rape threats, why are death threats considered to be more of an issue when it's said to women, not men? I believe in equality. I want things to be treated equally, and vile things, whether they're said to men and women, should be treated exactly the same.
Going beyond any woman's boundaries is sexual harassment.
You realize how vague the word boundaries can be, right? Yes, there are boundaries for men and women. Things you should and shouldn't do in public, things and things you probably shouldn't say. But to use boundaries equaling sexual harassment, no matter what the boundary that woman or man makes, is ridiculous. She could have a boundary that if a man walks by her, that's sexual harassment, and according to you, that'd be a legitimate case for sexual harassment is by walking by a woman in public. What if you give a woman eye contact? What if that's one of her boundaries, is that men don't give her direct eye contact because that implies that they're a rapist? What if that's one of her boundaries? Is that considered sexual harassment because you give eye contact to somebody? Do you not see how vague the word boundaries and how crazy that sounds?
Getting your friends to bully her, harass her, stalk her because she won't respond to you in a consenting way, that's sexual harassment.
Commenting on how a woman looks when you don't know her, and she's not your partner, and you don't have her consent, sexual harassment.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh my god. This can't be legit. This cannot be real. I can't think about a woman unless she is my partner? Are you fucking serious? I guess women should be held to the same standard. They can't think about a man unless unless that man is their partner. And what is this? I can't think or voice a thought about a woman unless I have her consent. So if I'm in the grocery store with my best friend and I see a girl down the aisle, I'm like, hey man, look at how pretty that girl is. I need to walk up to her and say, hey, madam, excuse me, can I tell my friend that you're really pretty? And then she has to give me actual verbal consent to simply think or say that she's pretty? Are you fucking serious? This is absurd. This is pure insanity.
Wolf whistling, catcalling, and Eve teasing, that's sexual harassment.
You see, now I'm really curious on why you'd have a 14-year-old white pale pock prepubescent teen in one of your videos giving advice on sexual harassment.
Crass jokes and innuendos, sexual harassment.
Crass jokes and innuendos. No, how does that equal sexual harassment? Sure, maybe if you go up to a woman and you make a sexual joke towards her completely unwarranted, yeah, I can kind of see that. But just making a crass joke in general does not mean it's sexual harassment. Just because someone is in a room and you say a joke that they may find offensive does not mean it's sexual harassment.
If you wouldn't say it at the workplace, it's sexual harassment. And if you're not at work and say it, it's still sexual harassment.
If she says no when you ask her out on a date, that means no. If you continue to ask her, that's sexual harassment.
If you ask a woman out and she says no, and you keep contacting her, emailing her, following her online, calling her, that is stalking, and it's sexual harassment.
If you say something to a woman and she doesn't like it, and you still say it, that's sexual harassment.
Okay, dark-skinned blubber man, let's find the definition of what sexual harassment is, because right now I don't know what sexual harassment is. It's just a buzzword being thrown towards meaning everything. I don't like this offends me, sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? The legal definition of sexual harassment is unwanted sexual activity. So that could be walking up to someone and touching them. For the most part, saying a joke, saying something to a woman, going to court over a joke that you say, for like example, humongous. My name's humongous. The courts are not going to take that seriously as a sexual harassment case. If you're running around in public, whipping out your dick and trying to grind on people, then yeah. You're trying to touch people without their consent in public, then yeah.
If she says no when you ask her out on a date, that means no. If you continue to ask her, that's sexual harassment.
Because I've said no to a woman before, and guess what? They continue to ask me. So that must mean that sexual harassment applies to men too.
If you ask a woman out and she says no, and you keep contacting her, emailing her, following her online, calling her, that is stalking, and it's sexual harassment.
If you say something to a woman and she doesn't like it, and you still say it, that's sexual harassment.
In that case, I must be one of the biggest sexual harassers on YouTube, because I've made a lot of videos, over 1,200 in fact. And there's a lot of videos that I've made that some women don't like what I have to say. That must mean that I'm sexually harassing them. I said something somebody doesn't like. Doesn't mean if it's sexual or not. Simply disagreeing with me means that it's sexual harassment. Great way to downplay and water down sexual harassment.
If you say something to a woman and she tells you you're sexually harassing her, and then you go find her email and email her multiple times and ask her to go to lunch with you, that's called stalking, and it's sexual harassment.
If we have to use mental acrobatics to justify abusive behavior, like saying that was just a dad joke or a fat joke, that is sexual harassment.
If you have to make a long-winded explanation about how your harmless joke was not sexual harassment, it's sexual harassment.
I don't know how much I can continue to do this. This is absurd. But what's even more absurd is that you're actually speaking for all women, and that is a problem. I actually know quite a few different women who use dad jokes themselves. You cannot speak for all women this way. Not all women think like this.
If you wouldn't say it to your daughter or mother, it's sexual harassment. There are some men who would say it to their daughter. That's called grooming. If you see that, reach out to the daughter and ask if she's okay. It is likely her father is abusive, and that he's teaching her that rape culture is okay.
What? Oh my god, how can you? That's such a fucking big stretch. From a daughter and a father making a joke to one another? That automatically means that the father must be physically or sexually abusive towards his daughter and is teaching his daughter that rape culture exists because he made a fucking goddamn joke about his daughter, or the daughter made a joke about the father. Like, my god, I would not want to be in your fucking family. I can't imagine how dull everybody would be not being able to make jokes towards one another. If you make a sexual joke, if you make a fart joke, if you make any fucking joke that pertains to the opposite sex, that must mean that you're like, you have a hidden incest relationship hidden with your child, right? And we're not even going to talk about the fucking rape culture shit. I've already refuted that numerous times. I don't believe rape culture exists because people know that rape is bad. Rape is wrong. We criminally charge people who commit rape. Rape culture implies that raping people is accepted.
Lying about what really happened in a sexual harassment case, like saying that she started it or asked for it or wanted it, is rape culture.
Saying that boys will be boys is rape culture.
Believing that men are not capable of controlling ourselves is rape culture.
Saying that a woman defended herself against sexual harassment makes you uncomfortable is rape culture.
If it's not consent culture, it's rape culture.
Now those, my young Padawan, those were wise words. If it's not consent culture, it's rape culture. While the idea of consent is very, very important, and I highly esteem what consent is, I do not need consent to make a joke. I do not need consent to talk to my friend about how I think somebody is attractive. I do not need consent to give eye contact with a woman. There are plenty of things in my day-to-day life that I do not need consent for.
Thinking that a woman should just shrug off being sexually harassed because it's not what women normally go through, or it's not what they used to go through in the past, that is rape culture.
Threatening a woman with rape or violence because she dared to speak up about sexual harassment is rape culture and sexual violence.
Calling a woman crazy when she screams about sexual harassment, That's rape culture. That's patriarchy.
No woman is obligated to make you feel comfortable after she's been sexually harassed.
Thinking that the man who has power is more likely to be telling the truth than the woman who has no power is patriarchy.
My rebuttal to that is simply take a look at the women who were believed when they accused innocent men of being rapists on campus. My video yesterday mentioned this on the woman who accused someone who looked like her rapist. She thought it was her rapist, and she accused him of being her rapist, and he got suspended and kicked out of the college. He had a bunch of people all against him, only for her to later realize that it actually wasn't the person who she thought it was. What women say, specifically in terms of their accusations towards a man, are held to a high esteem compared to what a man says about a woman. If I am in public and I say to people that my girlfriend is hitting me, they're not going to take me very seriously. If I'm hitting my girlfriend in public, guess what? They're going to take me pretty damn seriously. I'm probably be fucking thrown on the ground and arrested. That is pure sexism. It has nothing to do with sexual harassment.
No, you don't have the right to expect women to be nice to you. Expecting all women to be nice to you is patriarchy.
So let me ask this question. If I want people to, in general, just be nice to everybody, is that patriarchy too? Because I try to treat people with respect, and I try to treat people with kindness, whether they're a man or a woman. And granted, they don't have to be kind to me just because I'm kind to them. But I don't see that as a universal bad thing, is to be nice to people in general.
When you see a woman subjected to sexual violence, the way Zarna has been subjected to sexual violence in the form of sexual harassment, cyberstalking, slander, hate messages, rape threats, death threats, and you don't do anything to help her or to stop it, that's rape culture. That's patriarchy, and you're enabling it.
So if I do something to help her, that means that rape culture doesn't exist. Well, awesome. I guess I'll donate $1 to her crowdsourcing, and I'll just tell her that she's stupid. I no longer believe in rape culture, and the rape culture no longer exists. All because I took a stand to help her.
Notice how I only brought men to give this message? That's because you're patriarchal, and you won't listen any other way.
Or maybe, and this is just a hypothesis, maybe you gave all of them really good hand jobs. Maybe you gave them a nice suck on the dilly. I don't know. Maybe you paid them a lot of money. Maybe you sent them nudes. Who knows? But I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you got this group of men to shell you off and defend you, because obviously you can't defend yourself. This is some of the worst rhetoric I've seen towards rape culture and patriarchy I think I've ever responded to on this platform of YouTube. If this woman can be a professional victim and make money, I'm doing the wrong thing here on YouTube.
If you're a man, use your privilege to educate others about patriarchy, but always be humble before the voices of those who are oppressed. You followed their lead. If you're a woman, a queer or transgender person, and/or a person of color, know that the way you are abused is not your fault. You didn't do anything to deserve it. You were simply born into a body that patriarchy despises. You were born into a body that is objectified and commodified so that those in power can keep their power. So we will bring this system down by refusing to be quiet. We will refuse to be quiet about sexual harassment, assault, rape, and violence. Together with our male allies, we will defeat this oppression. That's how we will smash patriarchy. And that's not rhetoric. I'm going to tell you all about it.
I don't know. I don't know if I can keep doing this. The patriarchy is so real, and it's so rampant. And I just want people to acknowledge that the patriarchy exists. The amount of shame and guilt I feel for being a man, for contributing to the patriarchy, for helping it become what it is today. I can't deal with the shame anymore, man. I can't deal with being such a terrible person. So I want to thank you. I'm doing my job here today, and I'm going to take my life for the patriarchy, because we always need one less white cis male to intervene. Because I have nothing of worth to say, because I'm a cis white male. And I realize that you guys are oppressed, and that ultimately, through your oppression, I'm a terrible, evil person. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't kill yourself. I know you're probably already half dead already with alcohol poisoning because of watching this video, but hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please give this video a share. Please write a comment down below on what you think. The original video is posted down below in the description box. Also, my Discord is linked down below. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great rest of your day.